Okay, this is crazy. It's only been, it's Wednesday at noon, so it's only been 2.5 days since starting the Bolt Hackathon. And not only do we have a really nice landing page, we've got a fully functional prototype. This process is working amazingly well, and trying out new tools couldn't be going better. So, okay, let's catch you up real quick. This is the landing page. This is what was built in one day with a few tools. I'll walk you through that process. So it started with what we call AIR. It's AI requirement stock. So I just wrote most of this by hand in Cursor, and then kind of auto completed the rest of this with Cursor. And this became our single source of truth, living in the repo with the code. So at first it was just that one folder and that one file. So I took this and did a bake off with all the popular LLMs, and then I chose the one that ChatGPT did with O4 Mini. And I was happy with how it transposed that into more detail. And then I also asked it to give me a Bolt optimized prompt to start off my project. So I took both those things into Bolt, which is the next step. And I got something really good, really quick. And all it really took was going in and setting my knowledge to the overall prompt. And then literally, if you scroll up on this page, my first prompt was just the prompt that I showed you, and it spit out all this code and that landing page that you saw. Then, so that was day one, and it was great. I'm very happy with this. Next, we went back to that same requirements, and then this time I liked what Claude did actually. And Claude spit out a really nice introduction and overview, and even got down to some example code and such. So I took that and then generated the next document. So over in the left nav now, you'll see documentation and you'll see technical architecture. So this is much more technical, giving lots of code examples and such. And this I then took into Claude Code. And this was literally my first time ever using Claude Code. And within one day, I had a fully functional prototype, and Claude Code did almost all the work with barely any guidance. So if we go back over there, I asked it to take this document as a starting point and then create a task markdown file that it was going to use to track and break up its work. So it actually broke this up into phases. And then as it completed each phase, it marked them as complete for me so I can track. This worked amazingly well, and it also allowed me to tap into a feature I wasn't aware of. You can use multiple agents or sub-agents. So as I started marching down this list, I actually asked it to break it up and do two phases at once simultaneously, and it did. So that was a crazy looking chat, and I still have it open. This is the whole history of just one day, and I eventually just gave it full access and told it to go. And I went and got coffee. Maybe I played a little Xbox, and I came back, and it was done with a fully functional prototype. Of course, it wasn't absolutely perfect, but that was insane. It absolutely just crushed it. So then I took that and went into Cursor. Everybody knows Cursor. I did massaging, and again, it was largely there. I just had to fix some kinks and fix some styling and all that. And then we got to this. So this is the same app as the landing page, but you get to log into Supabase, and I'm already logged in. And once you're logged in, you get off and running. So check this out. This is pretty wild. I can come here and you see the whole process now. I'm going to upload some sample data, and that was so quick you probably didn't see it. So going back, it actually did a pre-scan of the sample data and showed me the overview, the file size, the columns. This is one big old CSV with 122 columns. It didn't have any errors, which was nice, but it showed me a bunch of warnings for missing values and such, and suggestions for things to improve. So again, that was largely there. I just styled it. It was Claude Code knocked that out the box. So the next part I did massage, because if there's one thing I understand how to do at this point, it's how to massage LLM queries and system prompts. And that's experience from Dreambase.ai. So I'm just going to start this, and it's going to take a second. It says 30 to 60 seconds. It probably takes a little bit more. But this is off and running now, and what it's going to do is it just takes the columns, and it takes just a few sample rows, like 5, just to understand what it is. It pre-processes that locally in the client in Next.js, and then it's going to go send it off to an AI. Boom. So that's actually nice. That's a good amount of tables to break it out into. You can see the number of columns in each still. Some of them still have a lot. We could break it out more. So it also had built in this refinement. So you can give it a prompt and it'll try again based on your feedback. So if you wanted to break out some of these into multiple tables, you could. I think it's pretty good. So we've got other features that we're going to be adding. This is cool too. Claude Code kind of lays out a bunch of future stuff and future ideas for you that I didn't necessarily even ask for, but that really make a lot of sense and that I can keep iterating on. I'm going to proceed and go to the visual design. And if we click on auto layout, this is awesome. This is using React Flow for diagrams, and it's really inspired by Supabase's database.build, which is a diagram for your database. And it's a really easy way to show you the visualization of things. It's got different colors when they're related tables. You can actually click on this and edit the properties and such. I'm just going to use it as is. But again, it's pretty freaking cool that it can put this together, and all I had to do was massage some stylings and tweak a few things. It's fantastic. So next I'll go to export. Again, this is a classic example of all I really started with asking for was the Supabase migration. But it actually proposed all these other different types of things it can do for exports and different options you can add on top, like Prisma and Drizzle, if you're into those things, which are amazing. It has simple export options, which again, I appreciate. And I like including things like sample data. And I'm gonna click on Supabase and export. It'll process that and give me that. And I really like this. It actually splits it out into the migration schema as well as the RLS policies. So I can download that, and I actually just downloaded 2 files to my desktop. We could stop right here, and that's already incredibly useful. That's super awesome. You can just open these up, copy and paste that SQL into the editor in Supabase and pre-populate your database now from this CSV. So that's all I really even wanted out of this thing, and we're only 2.5 days into the hackathon. But wait, there's more. The other thing I asked it to do was to auth in and connect to Supabase. So we can now do that. I'm going to connect it to the proper org, and we get really minimal read-write access. This is what we're going to need to actually upload the data and pre-populate your tables. And then, boom, once we come back, we're authed into Supabase. We've got our org, we have our projects, and I've created a new project for this. I'm going to click on customer. We've got the project details. We have these options for what we want to deploy to Supabase. We can preview the migration for those 2 files that I just showed you that were created. And I do not expect this to work. This is the last piece to actually properly fully finish, but that's insane, right? Like to go all the way through, all the way to here in 2.5 days, really 1.5 day of dev, and you click on deploy and it'll go and upload that data to Supabase. I'm going to click this, it's going to error, but seriously folks, like that's insane for this short amount of time. Here we go. We got progress, but we failed. That's fine. Okay, we just got an error uploading. Wouldn't that be crazy if that would have worked? Anyway, insane. So I'm pretty confident we'll have something good. We still have 2 weeks of work left to do before the hackathon's over. So cheers. Can't wait to show you the next thing.